30 years before Flight 721 was scheduled to take off, its black box was discovered in the Nevada desert. There was no aircraft nearby, no wreckage, no bodies. And according to every aviation authority in the world, Flight 721 had never existed. This was the second impossible case assigned to FBI Special Agent Daniel Hayes. The first indication that something was wrong came from a remote weather station in northern Nevada. At precisely 3:17 in the morning, every instrument stopped functioning. For 11 seconds, the station recorded nothing. Then the system restarted. During that same window, a geological sensor detected a shallow vibration beneath the lake bed. It resembled an impact, but the movement came from just beneath the surface. A satellite passing overhead captured a single frame containing an intense white flash. A maintenance team reached the station shortly after sunrise. 200 meters from the equipment, they found something that should not have been there. The recorder stood upright inside a perfect circle of burned sand. Despite the freezing temperature, its metal casing was still warm. Investigators searched more than 30 square kilometers around the site. They found no wings, no engines, no luggage, not even a fragment of paint or metal. Daniel Hayes arrived in Nevada the following evening. Hayes believed impossible cases usually became ordinary once enough evidence was collected. His first theory was simple. The recorder had been planted. A hoax, a security test, or classified technology placed there deliberately. But the ground had been exposed to enormous heat for less than a second, and there were no footprints leading into the circle. Hayes ordered the recorder transferred to a secure aviation laboratory. The manufacturer confirmed that the recorder was authentic. Its alloy, construction, and internal layout followed legitimate engineering standards. But several components were decades beyond anything currently being manufactured. Then they examined the serial number. The first digits represented the manufacturing year. The recorder had supposedly been assembled in 2055. When the internal memory was accessed, the possibility of a simple forgery disappeared. It contained engine pressure, altitude, navigation records, and more than 4 hours of cockpit audio. The recorder belonged to an aircraft designated Flight 721. Its recorded flight date was October 18, 2056, 30 years in the future. According to the data, the aircraft had departed from New Carthage International Airport. But those coordinates currently pointed to open water off the coast of Tunisia. Its destination was Port Meridian, capital of a country called the Atlantic Federation. Neither the city nor the country existed. The cockpit recordings mentioned the Republic of Cascadia, the Levantine Union, and the Northern European Authority. They spoke of Saint Aurora, Eden Harbor, and New Damascus. Hayes considered whether the data might have come from a simulation, but the recording contained thousands of details no fabricated scenario needed to create. For nearly 3 hours, Flight 721 behaved like an entirely normal passenger aircraft. Then, at 41,000 feet, its navigation system began reporting 2 locations simultaneously. One placed the aircraft over the Atlantic Ocean. The other placed it directly above Red Basin, Nevada. Both coordinates were recorded at the same moment. The exterior temperature dropped beyond the aircraft's operating limits. Every clock in the cockpit began moving backwards. A white light surrounded the aircraft. The pilots attempted to contact their destination, but another tower answered. A control tower that did not exist in the aircraft's database. The controller said Flight 721 had entered what they called a temporal displacement corridor. Then the crew received an instruction. Separate the flight recorder from the aircraft. The device would be sent ahead of the crash, not by several minutes, but by 30 years. Hayes listened to the final section repeatedly. The recording described the aircraft's failures, but the final 20 minutes were missing. Before the recording ended, another file had been transmitted into the black box. It was the passenger manifest. 211 names were listed. Most belonged to people who had not yet been born. Hayes searched for connections among them and found none. Then he reached passenger number 184. The name was Daniel Hayes. The date of birth matched. The identification number matched. Even his rarely used middle name was correct. The investigation was immediately classified. The black box was sealed inside a secure underground facility. Hayes was ordered to close the case. Before leaving, he requested one final copy of the flight data. That was when he noticed something the analysts had overlooked. The manifest included the exact time each passenger had checked in, but unlike the other passengers, Hayes had never purchased a ticket. His reservation had been created automatically. At the exact moment the black box appeared in Red Basin, the recorder had not simply warned Daniel Hayes about Flight 721. Somewhere in the future, the flight was already waiting for him. Case number 2 remains open.